Hi class, welcome to Overview of the course. This is a brief lecture that will help you understand course expectations. You know, the syllabus is really your contract with the teacher, and so it's a good idea to take a few minutes and step through the syllabus. You can do this with the syllabus in front of you, but you don't have to have that. This will take the place of that. You should listen to this lecture prior to meeting with me so that you can determine if you have any questions you want to talk to me about. So this is the beginning of the syllabus. You can see my contact information there, but truthfully, the very best way to reach me is through the Inhalbrenner at mercy.edu. You can read a little bit about course description as well. Academic integrity, that's cheating and plagiarism. I do take that seriously. Most assignments, especially the major ones, are put through safe assigned, and so it goes to without saying at this level you need to be doing your own work. If you do have some type of need some type of accommodation, the contact information is located there. You should contact our Office of Accessibility in case you need an accommodation like extended time on a project. I get questions about Blackboard all the time, and my answer is always the same. I'm not a Blackboard expert, except, you know, as an instructor. I'm not a troubleshooting behind the scenes kind of expert if you're having trouble. If you are having trouble, I'll tell you to call the help desk or to email the help desk to get support, and that information is located in the syllabus. This course does have a 10-hour expectation for fieldwork, and you'll learn that not all of that is observation. There's 6 hours of observation, which this semester, because of COVID, may be either done through video or in-person observation, and then 4 hours of planning and writing your paper. The syllabus covers my course policies. It's important to know what they are. Most things can be submitted late, up to a week late after the original due date with a 10% point penalty. The exceptions to that are the final fieldwork and the extra credit vocabulary project. And you don't have to ask if you can do that. It's automatically assumed you can do it. Papers need to be submitted using Word. If you submit it in PDF or some other format, I'll give it back to you and ask you to submit it in Word. This is why I emailed you before the semester, to give you time to make sure you have Word. All papers need to be submitted in APA format, and we're going to spend a little time in the course learning a little bit about that. Revision of assignments. Most assignments can be revised and resubmitted up to a week after they're graded. You will never get a lower grade if you revise and submit. You will only get a higher grade, or at least the same grade if you don't improve, but you won't go down. The exceptions to that are the discussion board postings, which may not be revised, and the fieldwork and the extra credit vocabulary project. I also forgot to mention that discussion board postings can't be submitted late, and I'll explain why in a bit. You can look at all the student learning outcomes that you should be able to do by the end of this course. Here's our textbook. It's important that you get the right edition, Classroom Assessment, 7th edition by Macmillan. You don't have to buy the Learning Lab. You can get it or rent. You can buy it or rent it as long as you have it through the duration of the course, and you can get it used. You can get it electronically or hard copy, but you don't have to buy the Learning Lab. Your grade in the course will consist of 100 points, and you can see 30% or 30 what I call class points based on 100 course points consist of learning modules, 15 modules at 2 points each. There'll be a data analysis project worth 20% of your grade, a quiz project worth 15% of your grade, a performance assessment project worth 15% of your grade, and a fieldwork paper worth 20%. Plus, there's the opportunity for a two-point extra credit project, vocabulary. You can figure out what your grade is, and I always post in Blackboard your current grade. So you can go and you can see if you have an 82, you can see an 82 corresponds to a B minus. I will remind you that nothing below a 70, this is a graduate course, so nothing below a 70 is passing in this course. There are no D's, there are no C minuses, it's only C and then down to F. So let's talk about briefly some of the assignments. Each week there will be a learning module posted, and each of these learning modules consists of activities that you're expected to do during the week. They're always due at Tuesdays at midnight. They're worth 2 points each, and so there are 15 of them, so that's 30% or 30 points of your grade. I always post a README file. You can see that there's a checklist at the end of the README file, so you can make sure that you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. It's posted no later than Wednesday. Usually I have it up by Monday or Tuesday, and you've got the full week to work on it. If there's a discussion post, and often there is, you'll see that they are due by Tuesday at midnight, and they're not allowed to be turned in late like some of the other assignments. The reason is discussion in this course takes the place of if we were having an in-person classroom discussion, we'd be discussing some of these things in class. When you post late, it's like you post after everybody gets up and leaves the room. So it's a kind of a meaningless thing. There's no way for people to respond. So discussion board is one of the few things that you can't do late in the course. When you do post, it's expected that you'll give a response post and react to 2 colleagues. And your reaction has to be more than just good job. It has to comment in some meaningful way on your colleague's post. So what does that mean? Well, for example, you might extend your colleague's idea. You might say, I agree with you about this, but have you considered this? You could ask questions. You could talk about your own experiences. If I see a reaction post and it says, good job, I like how you did that, it's not going to get full credit. So one response that's in-depth and meaningful that shows that you've thought about the material, and 2 reactions to colleagues. A second assignment besides the learning modules is called Analyzing and Visualizing Assessment Data to Guide Instruction. This is worth 20 points or 20% of your grade. It's divided into 2 parts. Part 1 will be due March 1st, and Part 2 will be due March 15th. In this assignment, you'll be presented with some hypothetical student data on a quiz, and you'll be asked to do an in-depth, deep dive analysis on what students have learned and how do you know that. This is an effort to help prepare you to do the EdTPA assessment portion. Another assignment is called the quiz project, worth 15% of your grade, and it's due April 5th. In this, you'll make your own quiz. You won't get one from an internet or another source. You'll actually make a quiz up. It's going to be a little bit harder than you think, but I hope that you learn a lot from this assignment. In the performance assessment project, worth 15% of your grade, you'll be coming up with a rubric to assess something that students have to do, like they have to write an essay, or they have to do a PowerPoint, or rubrics are usually designed to assess things that students have to do, perform. The draft of that rubric will be due April 12th, and you'll get some feedback, and then the final will be due on April 19th. And we'll be going into all of these assignments in much more detail. This is just to give you a little bit of an overview. One of your final assignments is the fieldwork paper. It's a classroom observation, and you're going to observe either in person in a school for 6 hours or online for 6 hours. Now, I ask students not to do this so early in the class. You should be doing this as late as probably starting this around late February, early March. And the reason for that is you don't know what you're looking for. You have to go in, you have to look for evidence of assessment, and you won't know much about that until around the middle of the course. So you can go ahead and think about, do I want to do an in-person observation or do I want to do a video observation, and start planning for that. And start looking at the course instructions for the assignment, but don't actually do the observation yet. That's worth 20% of your grade, and it's due on May 3rd, towards the end of the semester. It is one of the only assignments that you cannot revise or turn in late, and that's because, excuse me, because of when it occurs. The 2-point extra credit vocabulary project. This is a pretty simple project. Each week in the syllabus, you'll be given, and in the README file, you'll be given vocabulary, and there's a template in the assignments folder. Go find it, download it, and each week define the vocabulary word and use it in a meaningful sentence. Submit it May 10th. Don't submit it until the end of the course, and you could get up to 2 points extra credit on your overall grade point average. And that might make the difference between you getting a B and a C or an A and a B. If you're, for example, at a 79, you're at a C+, but if you do this and it bumps you to an 81, you would get a B- in the course. The course timetable in the syllabus helps you understand what's due when. So for example, week 1, the due date is January 25th at midnight. All the dates, all the times are at midnight. The topic is Introduction to the Course and to Assessment, and the individual meetings with me, which I've asked you to sign up for. Here's that list of vocabulary I just mentioned for the first week. You're reading Chapter 1. By the way, Chapter 1 is uploaded in case you don't have your textbook yet. It's up in the Learning Week 1 folder. And so Learning Module 1, all the activities are due on January 25th. So you can look at your syllabus if you're ever confused. I keep the most current version up on the course shell, so if I make a slight tweak or change, just look up there to see what's due when if you're confused. Now for this week, what should you do? Well, make sure you've completed all the activities in the README file from week 1. There's a checklist at the bottom of the file, and as I said, week 1's learning module activities are due Tuesday, January 25th. This is what the README file looks like. It's due Tuesday, January 25th. It'll always tell you what the topic is, and the bullets that you see here, you'll always see, okay, what are the outcomes? You should be able to introduce yourself, identify basic features of the course, distinguish between some basic forms of assessment. We call these outcomes or objectives, and you're going to be learning much more about them as we go through the course. So here you can see the README file also contains the vocabulary for the week. You can find the vocabulary either in the syllabus or in the README file if you want to do that extra credit vocabulary assignment. It's also a good idea, even if you don't want to do that, to make sure that you know what these terms mean. You'll see them again, not only in the field, but you'll see them probably on the EdTPA. And then each activity that you have to do, so what's showing here is the introductions that I asked you to make on the Welcome Start Here page. At the end of the README file, you'll always find the checklist. So if you're confused about whether you've done everything, go to the double check checklist and just read the list and say, have I done this? Have I done this? Have I done this? If you've done everything, you're in good shape. Any questions? Please email me at nhalbrenner@mercy.edu or contact me through the course message system. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to meeting each one of you during our individual meetings.